All right, am I back? Can you guys hear me? All right, all right. We'll go ahead and turn it up a little bit. Can you guys hear the game, or do you need me to turn it up some more? That good? All right. Okay. Per request, I've been asked to demonstrate how to properly use training mode for Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. So I would do just that. Um, I'll start with some things that you should immediately start with learning via, and then I will go into some more advanced practice. Okay, as you can see, going into CPU settings, there's a lot of options. All right, you can set the computer to fight. You can set it to a human opponent. You can change it to live bars. You can even set the details for the character, their responses. That becomes very important later, but it's important to know that it's there now. All right. So as a beginning Virtua Fighter player, the first thing you want to do is obviously pick your character, and you want to learn that character's basic combos. If you haven't already, go through the command training, figure out your character's moves, do it more than once, and make sure that you have all the moves down so that when you go into training mode, it becomes a lot easier for you to do the moves because you already know them. You went through your training, you went through the command training, you were able to do all the moves in command training, and etc., etc. All right. After you've done that, then you come into training mode, and then you learn your character's basic combos. All right. The first thing you should learn with your character is your basic combos. So, okay. So, for instance, Jackie, basic combo. All right. Make sure to learn your basic combos. Then from learning your basic combo, I should clarify. Learn your basic combos on normal hit. All right. Then after you learn your basic combos on normal hit, you want to do what you want to go to CPU settings, and you want to set it to counter hit. All right. And then you want to learn your character's counter hit combos. So you want to go into. We're going to go back to the game here, and now you're going to learn your character's counter hit combos. Counter hit combos mean combos that only work on counter hit. All right, so that combo for Jackie only works on counter hit. The launcher only allows him to do something on counter hit. So again, learn your character's counter hit combo. Once you've learned that, then you want to start being able to learn how to confirm your combos. All right. Basically, what this means is you can either set this to the reaction to normal or counter hit. So basically, the importance of knowing with this, knowing your combos between normal and counter hit, is that during counter hit, certain combos are possible that are not possible during normal hit. All right. An example of this is if I set this to counter hit, and then I do this combo. This combo is possible during counter hit because of the frames. All right, and I'll go into frames in a second. All right, this combo is also only possible during counter hit because your opponent is counter hit and you have the frame. Now, if I set it to normal hit and I try to do the same combo, it doesn't combo, as you can see, because it doesn't combo because you don't have the same amount of frames to do your combos. All right, so make sure to know what combos work and what combos don't work under these types of conditions. All right. Then the next thing after that you want to learn how to do is you want to learn how to stop your opponent or learn how to react to certain things. As you can see, the game has a set of 5 different reactions, 5 different guard and counterattack reactions. The first one being guard and counterattack with punch. So if I set the computer to that, I do an attack and they block it, they're going to respond with a punch. All right. If I set it to number 2, they're going to respond with a low punch. 3, they're going to respond with a mid attack. 4, they're going to respond with a throw. And 5, they're going to respond with a mid or a throw. All right. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but just figure out how you as a player respond to your opponent blocking your moves. Okay. So if your opponent is going to block and use 2P or a low punch, you should know how to deal with it. So I turn this on, I do this, and now I can practice dealing with my opponent's 2P. All right, and then so on and so forth. After you've learned basic ways to deal with these particular types of options, then as a player, you want to learn how to fight your opponent's character. All right, so let's say, as an example, my opponent is using Akira. What I want to do, the best way to learn how to fight the character is to go to this record commands function. And what you want to do is you want to set 2 or 3 different commands for you to learn how to deal with certain types of attacks or strings. Okay, so at first, when you're playing Virtua Fighter, it becomes rather difficult to know, at least when you're just starting to play the game, to know how to respond to certain types of character strings. So certain types of strings are going to seem more powerful because you don't know how to respond to them properly. That's what the recording function here is for. The record function is actually here to help you learn how to deal with those types of things. You can use the record function for many things. You can use it to learn how to deal with certain situations, learn how to respond to focus enemy setups. You can learn how to punish your opponent's character for moves that are X amount of frames on block. There are a lot of things you can use the record function for. So I would highly recommend using the record function as much as possible when you are in practice mode, because you can learn how to block certain things on reaction, which is very beneficial because you want to be able to punish your opponent for overusing certain tactics, such as, let's say you fight an opponent that likes using lows a lot. You can go into the record command function. You can set your opponent to do a low, and then you can practice blocking that low on reaction. All right. Now, let's say you want to start learning how to block it at random. Well, a good way to do that is to set these 2 other moves up so that they're doing different moves other than that low. Okay? And then from there, so this move is set to do Akira's Yoho, and this move is set to do Akira's double palm. So as a way of practicing, I can train myself to block the high, and then also train myself to block low when I see the low coming. All right? A very important skill is being able to defend. And that applies to any game, not necessarily just Virtua Fighter. But the way you learn to defend in Virtua Fighter by practicing how to block these moves. Okay? And then you also want to be able to punish these moves. All right? Now, some people might look at this and go, why haven't I mentioned throw escaping? Well, I haven't mentioned throw escaping because I don't feel that throw escaping is something that a player who is still learning the basis of the system should focus on immediately. But once they start getting down their combos and they get down their punishment, then I feel that a player should start working on throw escapes. All right? A player who wants to work on throw escapes can simply come into the CPU settings, and they can go all the way to either number 4, which also does throw, and you can set it to do whatever throw you want, and then or to number 5, which is mid and throw, and then you learn how to defend against both options. All right. Once you've gotten that down, then it's really just a matter of repetition. Doing the same thing with all the characters, learning these character strings, learning how to punish their moves, learning all of these things. Very important skills to know in order to be good at Virtua Fighter. So, I mean, that pretty much covers how to use training mode. If you have any real big questions, you can either message me, I am Chibi-Aya on VFTC, or you can go on to virtuafighter.com and look at some of the tutorials. I mean, I know Dandy J has a 2-hour-long tutorial on how to play Virtua Fighter. You can look at some of the other videos. There's tons of video media about Virtua Fighter on the internet, so you can always look that up. You don't always have to. You can use this video as a guide as well. So hopefully you guys get an understanding. Okay, I have a request. Can you explain how to practice? Okay. All right. First and foremost, I want to state the question. It's a good question, and at the same time, I don't feel that a beginner should be worried about that. I'm really doing this as for beginners, but for people who do not know, lazy throw escape is, well, it's lazy. Okay, first and foremost, let me talk about throw escape. Alright? Okay, so for the purposes of this, I'm going to set the command here. Okay? Alright, so how do you throw escape? Well, first and foremost, allow me to explain to you that you cannot break all throws, actually really any throws, in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown on reaction. Okay? So, I know that might seem a little daunting. You can't break a throw on reaction. But what can you do? Well, what you can do is you can hold guard, and then you can hit punch, and then hit the corresponding direction that you want to break. So neutral is for neutral throw, forward is for forward throw, and back is for back throw. Okay? Now, how do you do this in a match? Well, a lot of the time, your opponent, if you're guarding a lot, your opponent will try to throw you. What you have to understand is that in this game, throws are done in their 10-frame startup, okay? And they are going to be done in order to stop, to do damage to a blocking opponent. Alright? So when you are guarding, you want to almost always be holding a throw escape. Whatever direction it is. Okay? Now you can only do one throw escape. You can only buffer on one throw escape while you're guarding. So if you are doing a forward throw escape, then you are committing to doing a forward throw escape. If you're doing a back throw escape, you're committing to doing a back throw escape. If you're doing a neutral throw escape, you're committing to that as well. So make sure that you commit to whatever, because you can't just do this and then expect that you're going to break throws. Okay? I'm going to break all these throws. Now, something that is new to this game that was not in the previous games is being able to throw escape while you are guarding. Alright? Now, before, you could do what's called evading throw escape guard, which means that you would evade and then you would buffer in a throw escape as you were evading. So you would be covering all of your bases. Okay? Basically, in the previous games, you could do like 3, I think it was the max of 4 throw escapes at once. So a really strong player would do anywhere between 2 to 4 throw escapes. And I stand corrected, it's 5. Okay, you could do up to 5 throw escapes at once. In buffering in your sidestep. Okay? Or if you were in block stun, you could buffer and throw escape. Okay. Now the danger of doing too many throw escapes is that you were not in the previous game. If you were not very good at it, then you could end up whiffing throws. Okay. So if my opponent did a move and I would try to perform a throw escape and I wasn't very strong at it and I didn't know how to perform throw escape guard, I would just whiff the throw. Okay. And that would be disastrous. Alright, because then I would get launched or counter hit, and then my opponent would do tons of damage to me for poorly executing a throw escape or performing evading throw escape guard. Well, in this game, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You know, in this game, it's a lot easier. You can still do the evading throw escape guard, but you can hold guard first when you sidestep, and then do your direction. Okay, so how would you practice this? Well, what you would do is you would go into your CPU settings, set it to number 5, okay? And let's say I do a move. Now, as you can see, my opponent responded with a mid-attack. When he responds to mid-attack, I block the mid-attack. But if he responds to the throw, I get to break the throw because I'm already holding the throw escape. Okay? I'm already holding the throw escape. Now, now throws are 1 in 3 chance. You have a 1 in 3 chance of breaking a throw. Okay, so it is a guess. Don't think that you're going to just break every throw that happens. All right, it's not going to happen that way. You're not going to break every throw that happens. You're going to break maybe a third, maybe even less, just because again, it's up to your opponent how they're going to throw you and use the mix-up. But just because you get thrown doesn't mean you shouldn't use throw escape. It's going to happen. You're going to get thrown. Okay? Still perform the throw escape. All right? Now, if you want to practice evading throw escape, you can do the following. Note how I'm tapping up, and if they attack me, I'm still breaking the throw. As you can see, I am sidestepping, but I'm still breaking the throw. If they use the elbow, then I will be able to sidestep. But for some reason, the computer doesn't want to do anything other than, there we go. Okay, so I still sidestep, okay? Alright, so that's a very valuable skill to learn. Learning how to do evading throw escape. Alright, so again, in order to practice this, make sure that you have your CPU set to guard and counter attack 5 on a reaction. So when they block your move, you are going to be forced to either block the mid that they do as a follow-up or perform a throw escape. And you can set the different throw directions. So you can set it to back throw or you can set it to forward throw and you can practice the corresponding direction. Okay? Learn this skill because you don't want to be just getting thrown for free when you're blocking. You don't want your opponent to just run up to you and be like, okay, I'm playing Wolf Burning Hammer. That's 100 points of damage that you probably didn't need to take because you aren't performing throw escape. Okay? There are more advanced techniques to practice, but these are the basics. These are the things that you want to work on in training mode as a person who's learning how to play Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'll do a more advanced video for people who are going from intermediate or who are moving to intermediate level. I'll do a more advanced video, but that's the basics. So hopefully you guys understood what I was saying. I know I talked a little fast. I apologize. But hopefully you get what I'm trying to tell you, the message I'm trying to convey. I will catch you guys later. This is Chibiaya. Adios.